YouTube, let's give them a wave. Give them a wave. I don't know where they chatted. Are they back there? Hi, guys. There we go. As I mentioned earlier, the Hall of Fame dinner is sponsored by the Trinity Alumni Association and the Alumni Board of Directors. I'd like to recognize those board members who are in attendance with us this evening. And if you would, when I call your name, please stand so that we can recognize all of you. And let's hold our applause till I get through them all. There are a number of them. Zach Redmond from the class of 2006, co-chair of the 2023 Hall of Fame committees and chair of the Alumni Board. Andrew Heineman from the class of 04, chair of the 2023 Hall of Fame committees and chair-elect of the Alumni Board. Matt Palmer-Ball, class of 01. Jesse Ryan, class of 90. Paul Allison, class of 89. John King Jr., class of 08. And Gary Lange, class of 61. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen, for your service. I'd also like to thank the 2023 Hall of Fame committees. The nomination committee presented and researched individuals for inclusion into the Hall of Fame, and the selection committee, after having their names submitted to them, the selection committee votes on the individuals for inclusion. One of the duties of the Alumni Board chair-elect is to oversee the Hall of Fame nomination and selection process, and Andrew Heineman, class of 04, fulfilled that role this year. Each July, the Hall of Fame committees begin their work. Their job is to protect the Hall of Fame integrity, and they've done exactly that with this class. So thanks to Andrew and Zach for your leadership of the board. Yeah. Also in attendance with us tonight are 1 or 2 Hall of Fame members, or 30. No, there are a few, and I'm so glad that they're here because, man, oh man, oh man. Wait till you hear this list. Wait till I'm done reading the names before applauding, because they all deserve it for sure. So as I say your name, just stand and remain standing if you're able, please. Thanks. Jeff Ashley, class of 85. Dr. Glenn Blinko, class of 73. William Bradford II, an honorary member of the class of 03. Greg Braum, class of 88. Jeff Braum, class of 89. Craig DeCincy, class of 91. Tom DeVay, an honorary member of the class of 94. Sean Freiberg, class of 91. Mike Giedig, class of 72. Mike Hamilton, an honorary member of the class of 96. Tony Heintzman, an honorary member of the class of 13. Alan Hennessy, class of 69. Roy Hill, class of 65. John Hollenbach, class of 79. Judge Todd Hollenbach, the third, class of 57. And Todd Hollenbach, the fourth, class of 1978. Donnie Jones, class of 73. Mickey Colvin, honorary member of the class of 97. Dr. John Klaber, class of 59. Charles Lease, an honorary member of the class of 01. Larry Link, class of 72. Charlotte Miller Stengel. Dave Peggy, class of 81. Patrick Potter, class of 89. Russ Reed, class of 71. Bob Ray, class of 69. Paul Resch, class of 76. Jim Sapienza, class of 81. Jimmy Sherrill, class of 73. David Stossberg, class of 64. Phil Stucker, class of 70. Greg Seisel, an honorary member of the class of 03. Phil Thieneman, class of 73. Chris Tompkins, class of 78. David Troutman, class of 85. David Winkler, an honorary member of the class of 04. And Father Dave Zettel, class of 58. Did I miss anybody? Who's over there? Jody Demling. Jody, class of 89. Miss anybody else? That's my fault. Oh, and me. Thank you all. Y'all are awesome. Now I'd like to introduce Andrew Heineman for a few remarks. The Alumni Board Chair-elect and the chair of the 2023 Hall of Fame committees. Andrew, it's all yours for a few.
Make sure it's good. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our induction ceremony. Tonight, our inductees take their place alongside other members of Trinity's family who have served our school, her students, and her alumni well. The first Hall of Fame dinner was held in 1993 here to honor the completion of Alumni Hall. Individuals from Trinity's past, present, living and deceased grace our Hall of Fame. They all left undeniable marks on our beloved school. To be selected for our Hall of Fame, one must meet a certain set of criteria. That criteria can be found in your program this evening. This year's class is the largest class we've had since the initial class in 1993. And I believe it is a perfect representation of the things that make our Trinity family unique. It's the tireless work of teachers and administrators like Dr. Debbie Hevron and Frank Ward. It's the buy-in and unwavering support of parents and community members like Oscar Brown. It's the academic and professional success, as well as their gifts back to our school from alumni like Dr. Mark Corbett, Joe Landenwich, and BJ Rockriegel. The athletic prowess, academic success, and high level of achievement from alumni like Brian Braun. And it's the dedication, as well as the sheer love for our Trinity family that pours from alumni like Rudy Vols. I must admit I'm very grateful and humbled to be a part of tonight's program, as well as the selection process. Easily the best part of my role is being able to make the phone calls to each inductee and share the news about their induction. To each inductee, thank you for those conversations. And thank you for letting me be a small part of your Trinity experience. One of the things that sets Trinity apart is our unique story. From humble beginnings, we had to claw for and build nearly everything on our own. And as a result, we find ourselves in the middle of this amazing campus. But over the years, something else was built. Something more powerful and more valuable than any of Trinity's athletic or academic teams or buildings. And that's Trinity's reputation. That reputation of greatness, a welcoming community, strong academic rigor, and producing men of character. That reputation does not happen overnight. It happens because of the members of this Hall of Fame and because of the members of this year's class of inductees. As the father of a current Trinity freshman, I'm grateful knowing that he and all the others following behind him will soon see your plaques up amongst the greats in the halls of our Trinity. Each year they will learn from your experiences, your examples, your standards, the standards you have championed, to help them grow and see what it means to be a standard bearer for our Trinity family and our Trinity reputation. So as an alumnus, a community member, and a father of a member of Trinity's class of 2027, inductees, thank you. Thank you for all you've done to build and uphold the reputation of our dear Trinity. With that, I'll turn it back over to Joey for introductions of this year's inductees.
Thanks, Andrew. We will begin the introduction of the newest class in just a few moments. But first, I do want to introduce Trinity President, Dr. Rob Mullen.
Good evening. Thank you, Joey. At 1:30 today, this was a cafeteria. We had just finished serving 3 lunch periods, serve breakfast, then an after-school snack. Our operations crew and some others helped turn it into what it is now. Flick, there's Michael. They prepared all those meals today and this one as well. So can we give a round of applause for our This event is always such a lift. It comes at a great time of the year, bring the first semester to a close, head into the holidays. It's a great shot in the arm for everyone connected to Trinity, and listening to that litany of Hall of Famers who are here, boy, oh boy, the stories that are connected to their time at Trinity or what they've done since that time are incredible. Thank you all for adding this to your week. Thank you, Zach Redmond, the Alumni Board, the committees for pulling together this class. Thanks to Bonnie and Brian, the alumni and foundation offices who did so much for this event and during the year. Joey is right. These honorees are worthy and they uphold the aim of our Hall of Fame, which is to recognize individuals who value our mission, and more importantly, maybe than you realize, for us to present to our students examples to follow. That's why we take all of these plaques and proudly present them through the school. And I can tell you that students do take time as they're waiting here and there to read what's on those various plaques throughout the campus. And Frank and Debbie, longtime colleagues of mine, they're shining examples of the dedicated teachers that we have now and those in the past that those of us who are alumni enjoyed as well. Their positive impact on Trinity students is life-changing. In Oscar, we see an example of the paraprofessionals who help make our teams and extracurriculars possible. By the way, congratulations to you and Coach Cobb and your fellow coaches and players on number 28. Thanks to our athletic director, Rob Saxton, who supports the coaches so well. And Joe and BJ, they embody the tireless volunteers who serve on our various boards of directors. They propel our school forward in ways that those of us who work here can't. And in Mark and Rudy and Brian, they were successful here as students, regardless of what any of Rudy's classmates will say. And they have gone on to very successful careers in their adult life, living out what we try to teach our students to be men of faith and men of character. You will hear and can read more about them in just a moment. Please allow me to brag on our school for just a moment. You're a captured audience. We ended the first quarter with a record number of students making the honor roll. And making the honor roll these days is harder than ever because of our block schedule, the number of classes that you must take as a student. Our recent graduating classes have set records for college admissions offers and also college merit scholarship offers. Speaking of enrollment, this year is the 4th year running that we are the largest private or Catholic high school in the state of Kentucky. And after Saturday's placement test, I can assure you that we will be the largest for 5 years running. It was a great turnout. And thanks to James Tora, our Director of Admissions, who leads that effort. Part of the success we have with enrollment is your generosity to things like the Celebration Dinner Auction, which is on campus again this year in March, or the annual fund, or the many, many, many endowed financial aid scholarships that many of you all have created or helped sustain with your donations. Keys to our solid enrollment and all of these recognitions that our students receive rest with our teachers. Many of them are here tonight. Our block schedule, our smart use of technology, and our house system. All of these are led by our principal, Dr. Dan Zoller, who happens to be the longest serving principal in school history. We know from a survey of similar Catholic high schools from 5 different states that our salary and benefit offerings are extremely competitive. And when we have job openings, we can pick from the best of the applicants. Thank you to the Trinity School Board, which is chaired by Mike Paradis, whose guidance and support make these academic successes possible. And Larry Castagno serves as our CFO, and he keeps track of all that back office stuff very well. We've got 2 construction projects underway. And I mention them because, like everything else we build around here, it's only because of the generosity of donors. We will soon open up our very own, for the first time in 70 years, tennis center just down the street on part of our Sears Avenue property. That's made possible by some very generous Trinity tennis alumni, led by Ray Duran and Ennis Mather and his family. Plus, we're adding an indoor batting facility at our baseball stadium in the St. Matthews Community Park, which happens to be the finest stadium of its kind in this part of the country. And that fundraising effort is led by Sean Frabert and other generous donors. These projects, when you add them to what we've done on this campus since the year 2000, brings our total investment to more than $50 million on our St. Matthews home. Thank you to the donors and the Trinity High School Foundation, which is chaired by Joe Landenwich, who make this renaissance possible. 1 year ago at this event, I asked the attendees to please welcome an invitation that you might receive from a company owned by Jeff Ashley, one of our Hall of Famers and former colleague, and his company, because we wanted to test whether or not some other projects we want to do on this campus would be feasible. And what we discovered is that there's a great appetite for the projects we're considering. So in January, we will launch the silent phase of a capital campaign. It'll be the largest in school history. That if successful, it's going to enhance even further the remarkable things that we're able to offer to our students, which is driving the enrollment surge that we're seeing. A number of the local steering committee members are here tonight, along with some who live out of town who serve on our national steering committee. Jim Beckham from the foundation staff and I are working closely with some of Jeff's staff and these steering committees to launch this campaign. And if you're so inclined, maybe you can help support this project. These are tough times in our country, in our world. We need Trinity graduates now more than ever. We need people who know how to show up on time, how to dress for the occasion, how to put in a full day's work, and can do all that with a faith embedded deeply into their soul, into a character that is so sorely needed in this community, in our state, our country, and our world. Congratulations to the inductees. Merry Christmas, Trinity forever.
So we don't stretch this evening into the late hours. We won't read every word of the printed programs and the biographies that you see in the program. So I do direct your attention to that piece of literature that's on your table if you want to learn more about each inductee. It's now my pleasure to introduce the newest Hall of Fame class. I ask the inductee to please come forward at the conclusion of your introduction. Our first inductee is Dr. Debbie Heverin. Dr. Heverin gave more than 20 years of service to Trinity and nearly 40 years in Catholic education. She was an integral member of Trinity's traditional program for students with learning differences. Students knew they had an advocate in Debbie and someone who saw their successes before even they did. Debbie served the school in many ways. She was a member of the Faculty Senate, representative of the Trinity School Board. She was a director and advisor for Seton House and a mentor for Aquinas House. She worked retreats and moderated the Culinary Club, Beta Club, and Drumline. Additionally, Debbie was an active member of many local and national professional organizations. She was honored with the Presidential Excellence and Achievement Award for her work in 2016 and received the Reverend Thomas Doerr Teacher of the Year Award in 2018. That's an award that's voted on by her colleagues. On a personal note, when I worked in admissions here, Debbie never said no to an invitation for her help with a family or a big group of families who were in need of the traditional programs innovative services. She and her husband Don have 3 children, Teresa, Justin, class of '06, and Emily. They're members of St. Edward Catholic Church. Ladies and gentlemen, Debbie Heaven.
First, I have to say, wow. It's hard to render a teacher speechless, but second, I want to say thanks. Teachers, being in our humble profession, don't usually get accolades. So I was quite shocked, and I'm still shocked by the invitation to be a part of this wonderful class of inductees. I know I stand on the shoulders of giants. I mean, look at me, I have to stand on giants. I can't see over anybody, right? I came to Trinity on a prayer. I left a school, or didn't leave a school, was forced to leave a school that closed. And had interviewed here, and then also interviewed with Jefferson County Public Schools. And Linda Whitworth, who's here, was persistent about calling me every single day. Trinity needs you. Trinity really needs you. I thought, I'm going to do something different. I've been in Catholic schools for a long time. And I was on my way to sign a contract to work at Male High School. And Linda called again, hung up. Right after that, Dave Winkler called. And I thought, okay, my prayer was, God, just send me where I can do my best work. And I came to Trinity and I stayed. So instead of driving to Male that day, I drove here and signed a contract. So God took care of me. I have to say it was a privilege working with Trinity's neediest students. Kids with learning differences struggle so much, which even makes the job harder. There were some days I felt like I was teaching in a popcorn machine, and your popcorn's flying everywhere, and you're trying to talk to these people, and nothing was working. And I would leave here just as frustrated as the students. And I'd come back the next day with a prayer, God, please make it better. And it always was. I have to say that I had a wonderful team of colleagues, many of whom are here tonight, who constantly lifted me up. We would often have meetings. We would talk about how to help these kids. Anytime I went to Dan or Rob, I'm sure their prayer was like, God, what does she want now? But they were very, very giving and understanding, and always said yes to whatever we needed, whether it was equipment or to attend a workshop or a conference, anything that would make us better to serve those needy kids. I also loved working with many aspects outside of the classroom. I have to say it didn't matter what subject, I was teaching English, but it didn't matter what I was teaching. What really mattered is I helped those kids find themselves and find what was good about themselves. And the retreat program, being part of that, was a blessing. I learned more sometimes about myself than I did the kids. A couple of examples. One of the sophomore retreats that I went on, and they've restructured it now, but we would do we would go out to the woods and go on different, things, ropes courses and things like that. Well, one was a trust fall. And so you'd climb up a ladder, stand on a small little platform, and fall backwards. I don't know if any of you have ever done that, but it's a little terrifying. And it's really terrifying when your students challenge you to go up there and stand on that platform and fall backwards, and you expect them to catch you. And I will say I did it every time. I prayed to God I wouldn't fall and break 1,000 bones, but they would catch me. And it was just a wonderful trust building, which is what it was meant to do. But it lifted me up. I always said prayers when we went on field trips. We would pray on the bus, and one day I had a kid say, I've never prayed in a car before or on a bus. But later when the kid got his driver's license that year, he said, Dr. Hebron, I prayed before I got my driver's license, and I'm going to pray every time so I stay safe. My mama heart was really happy. Also working with, like Joey said, the culinary club. We didn't lose any fingers when we were back in the kitchen using great big giant knives. Drumline was fun. Justin had a ball with starting that. But I want to really thank all the wonderful colleagues. This place is just nothing without you. I was constantly lifted, and I'm not going to dwell on this, but 4 years ago when the world was diagnosed with COVID, I was diagnosed with cancer. And having to end my teaching journey because of that, with teaching kids online, was another way, though, that Trinity supported me, because they let me continue to teach online. And Jennifer Browning and her husband, Rick would be here in the classroom. I would be at home talking to kids via the computer. Really strange situation, but they supported me and helped make that work. I have to say that, I'm going to throw him under the bus, but my doctor, who has been with me that 4-year journey, met me in the hospital when, everybody was in masks, double gowned, worried about germs. And he sat at my bedside for an hour to convince me that I needed to fight, that I needed to start the journey with chemo and to keep fighting. And to this day, he still is helping me with that. So I'm here because of him. I want to thank my kids, Teresa, Justin, and Emily, for being along with me on this journey. Justin especially, I'm proud to say I'm a Trinity mom, I'm an alum. But I especially want to thank those of you who know him as Mr. Dr. Hebron. My husband of 45 years, Don, couldn't have done any of this without you. So my prayers for all of you, that God will continue to put blessings in your life, like I've realized. And I have to say, for present company, go Cards, but especially go Rocks, Trinity forever, as we say.
Our next inductee is Brian Brom from the class of 2004. Brian is recognized as one of Trinity's most outstanding student athletes, playing baseball, basketball, and football all 4 years. He led Trinity to 3 consecutive football state championships and was named the MVP of all 3 title games. In 2004, Brian helped lead the basketball team to its first ever regional title and state tournament victory, as well as the baseball team to a regional title and state tournament appearance. He went on to be drafted by the Colorado Rockies. Brian attended the University of Louisville, where he guided the football Cardinals to a 12-1 record, including an Orange Bowl win. In 2007, he earned a bachelor's degree in business administration. In 2008, Brian was the second-round pick of the Green Bay Packers and continued playing professionally through 2015. In 2016, he began a collegiate career coaching and setting school and conference records. Brian and his wife Ashley have 2 children, Weston and Stella. They are members of St. Patrick Catholic Church. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Brom.
Well, thank you. First off, I'd like to thank my wife and kids for being here, my wife Ashley. This is a tough time of year to be a coach's wife. Not that any of them are easy, but she's the Hall of Famer in our family. And then my son Weston, my daughter Stella. This is kind of one of their first experiences here at Trinity, so this is really special to be able to share that here with them. I also want to thank a lot of familiar faces out there, a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of people that have supported me throughout my life, throughout my career, throughout all the ups and downs. I appreciate everybody for coming out here and continuing to show that support. Trinity High School is in my blood. I was born with that. When I was born, both my brothers, Greg and Jeff, who I looked up to, they were actually students here at Trinity High School. So I grew up either in the gym, at the football game, on the baseball field. They were playing the sports, and I was in the stands wanting to be just like them. Lots of evenings under the stadium, run around at Harry Jansen Field. Lots of evenings at the gymnasium, sneaking in the back, finding Joe Dimling in the back, and getting some free drinks and free snacks, and then making sure that I want to be a Rock forever. But a lot of that great experience. So as I grew up, I remember a quick one. I remember my brother walking me through the football locker room, and I think I was maybe 3 years old. It's one of my first memories. And I remember the smell of the locker room. And I thought it was the coolest, greatest smell of all time. And I couldn't wait to be able to play football in that locker room and to have that stench that the football players have. Now it is disgusting. I mean, it's a terrible smell. But when I was a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I always looked up to them. Always looked up to the great men that went to Trinity High School. Quick story. There was a time where my life flashed before my eyes, and I didn't think I would get to come to Trinity High School. Many people might not know this. I know this table right here probably knows the story better than I do. But my dad, as he was an accountant, and my brothers I think were in college, he started to study to get his teacher certificate. So he got his teacher certificate and had the idea of being a teacher and being a coach. And I think I was in 5th or 6th grade. They can probably know the exact time. But he actually interviewed for and got and accepted, I think I was in 5th or 6th grade, got the job at Holy Cross High School. He was going to be the football coach. And I remember him coming home excited, telling the family that he had got this new job. Obviously he thought that I was going to be going to Holy Cross and playing football for him. He was going to get to coach me. And I can remember the feeling of like, whoa, no. No. And I don't know if I expressed that, but I believe that they either saw the look in my face, or I want to think that Donna, maybe that night, congratulated Oscar behind closed doors and said, listen, this is great. This is a great opportunity for you. This is what I want to think. I don't know what happened. But Brian is going to Trinity. He is not going to Holy Cross. Great school, nothing bad about Holy Cross. But Brian's going to Trinity High School. So needless to say, the next day, Oscar woke up. He went to Holy Cross High School and told them that he would not be taking the head coaching job at Holy Cross. Then later on, he became an assistant at Trinity and was able to coach me and help guide me as I went through my high school career. But there was a time there, one night, where I was very scared that this dream wasn't going to be able to come true. The experience here at Trinity High School was so special. It's because of the people. To me, it's because of the people that come to this building. All the teachers, all the coaches, the great alumni, the great people that support this institution make this a great place for a young man to grow and become a man. That is what happened with me while I was at Trinity High School. A few people I'd like to recognize that helped me get there. Bob Beatty, my football coach, head football coach as I was here. Just a tremendous example of a guy who was dedicated to his craft, who wanted to win badly, and he took a group of guys and helped them do that, helped them achieve their goals. It was a great impact on my life. Another blessing I had, and he's sitting here at the table with me, is Coach Andrew Coverdale. Probably the greatest teacher that I've ever been around. He was able to break the game of football down in a young man's mind It's a very complex game when you get down to it, to very simple form. He had probably the greatest playbook I've ever had. It was on a PowerPoint. I was a freshman or sophomore in high school, and I would play this PowerPoint and click through that thing every single night for hours and hours and hours. And still, to this day, I would like to make our playbook like that. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. He had the checkerboard, and he would teach me about coverages of defenses using a checkerboard. He was breaking it down for a young man that I don't think there's a lot of coaches out there that can teach in that simplistic of form. And I try to embody that now that I'm a coach and use some of those techniques as well, but he was one of the best. Coach Mike Szabo, also here today in support. Mike, he kind of got to Trinity, I guess basically right when I did, and he taught us how to play as one. I mean, he stressed that, playing together, playing for your teammate, having a team come together. And in 2004, we ended up having the first region championship, which still to this day I think is one of the best accomplishments of my athletic career. Because we really were a collection of guys. If you broke us down individually, we probably weren't the best. But he got us to come together, play together. I thought it was one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen to get us to win that region championship. And again, another person that's impacted me that I want to try to embody some of that as I'm a coach, as I'm trying to teach young men throughout their journey. But all these, there's many examples. They only give us 3 minutes tonight, so many examples, and a lot of them sitting up here today. Great teachers, great role models, all through Trinity High School. Trinity has laid the foundation for the man that I am today and the man that I want to be moving forward. The emblem on the side of the helmet that I grew up idolizing, hard work, loyalty, discipline, and achievement, that will be embedded in my DNA forever. But the biggest thing I want to say today is just a thank you, not only to all of you out there, but to everyone that supports Trinity High School for what this institution does for so many young men as they grow and become men. It's just a great place to be, a great place to have that happen. And there's a lot of great people here. So again, I want to thank Trinity and Trinity forever.
Thank you, Brian. Our next inductee is Oscar Braun, an honorary member of the class of 2008. Oscar joined Trinity's varsity football coaching staff in 1999. For 25 consecutive years under 3 different head coaches, he coached many great quarterbacks, including his son Brian. During this time, he was a coach for 15 state championships. Oscar had a storied career at Flagey High School, where he played football, basketball, and baseball. He went on to play quarterback at the University of Louisville, where he earned a master's degree in teaching in 1995. Oscar was inducted into the Kentucky High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame in 2017. He's also a certified public accountant and treasury professional. Oscar coached several youth sports, as well as serving as the head women's softball coach at Spalding University for 2 years. He was named Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Coach of the Year in 2001. Additionally, he coached for the Louisville Fire professional arena football team, which went to the Arena 2 Championships game in 2005. In 2004, Oscar received a Catholic School Alumni Award from the Archdiocese of Louisville. Ladies and gentlemen, Oscar Braun.
Well, I want to start out by saying that, it was kind of a compliment when I got offered that job at Holy Cross. So I think my head got a little bit big, and I said, well, I might do this. So then I got home that night, and my wife pointed out to me, well, does that mean Brian's going to Holy Cross? And I went, whoops. So I knew Brian was a great athlete. And because I've coached him pretty much his whole life. But so I knew he was a great athlete, so I had to change my mind and do an about face, which I'm glad I did because Brian belonged to Trinity. And so I went ahead and I went back to Trinity, and then I started coaching at Trinity. So anyway, I wanted to say I'm very honored to be inducted into the Trinity Hall of Fame. I have been privileged to coach many great Trinity quarterbacks over a record 25 consecutive years as a varsity assistant coach, and also to be a varsity assistant coach for now a Trinity record 16 state championships teams. I'm especially honored to be going in with my youngest son, Brian, and joining my sons, Greg and Jeff, who are already in the Hall of Fame. I was the oldest of 9 kids in my family, 6 boys and 3 girls. The 6 boys all played some college football, but I was the oldest. So I was a first team All-State quarterback, a member of the All-Southern High School All-American team, a 3-sport athlete, and president of the student council at the legendary Flagey High School. I then attended U of L, where I played quarterback and graduated with an accounting degree and then later with a Master of Arts in Teaching. My first recognition of Trinity High School occurred when my 2 outstanding head coaches, Polly Miller and Jim Kennedy. Polly coached me my first 2 years at Flagey, and then he left and went to Trinity. And then I had Jim Kennedy, who was another great coach. And after I played 2 years for him, he left and went to Trinity High School. So right away I was thinking, hey, this Trinity must be pretty good. So 18 years later, my son Greg had to pick a high school, and he picked Trinity. And you know, that determined the course of all our futures. And I want to thank Greg. He's sitting right there. Greg was very, very smart, as all of our sons were, and our daughter. But Greg actually had a perfect score on the ACT, so he was really smart. Now, Greg and Jeff, they have tremendous success at Trinity in the classroom and on the sports fields. They both played 3 sports, football, basketball, and baseball. Greg was first team All-State in football. Jeff was Kentucky Mr. Football, first team All-State, and player of the decade. And you know, I could mention a lot of different things, highlights about them, but I'm just going to mention one play. They were always a good passing combination, and it was one play against St. X. And St. X was ranked as one of the top teams in the country. We were playing them Greg's senior year, and it was the second quarter. The game was tied 0-0, and it was 2nd and 52. Not a very good place to be. But anyway, Jeff went back. He hit Greg on one pass. Then right away, he hit him on another pass. And we were on the 1-yard line, and Jeff snuck it in. And we spoiled St. X's season right then. So it started out that my sons were known as Oscar Brahms' sons. But it now has evolved to where I am known as the Brahm brothers' dad. And I'm very proud of that. Over the years, I developed a close relationship with Dennis Lankley. And when Kevin Wright was hired in 1999, Coach Lankley asked me to coach with Coach Wright. And prior to that, I'd coached many things, as you already heard in the introduction. And a couple of those were Toy Bowl championships. So actually, this started me on my Trinity coaching journey in the last 25 years. The next year, Coach Beatty came in and he asked me to stay on coaching with him. And during this time, I was lucky enough to coach my son Brian, And we won 3 state championships early on and played in one of the greatest high school games of all time, the 59-56 win over Mayo for the 2002 state championship. In this game, Brian threw 7 touchdowns and scored 1 running. He was later named Kentucky Mr. Football and First Team All-State. He also appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. And I ended up coaching 21 years with Coach Beatty, 21 exciting years. And I was part of 15 state championships with Coach Beatty. So I've coached the last 3 years with Coach Cobb, and we just won another state championship. And this is my Trinity now, record 16th as a varsity coach. Now, Coach Cobb did a great job this year coaching the team, but he also introduced something new to the team that I think is great for the players. And before every game, he had a representative from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes give a talk to the team. So while I am a CPA and a certified treasury professional, I've had some interesting jobs in the business world, including Vice President of Finance and Administration for WHS TV and Radio, and Treasurer of the WHS Crusade for Children, among others. I'm primarily known now as Coach, and I love it. I have to thank God for the sermon I heard at church years ago, where the priest pointed out that Christ said that if you have a talent, you should use it. I knew that I was a good coach. So over the years, I negotiated with all my employers and worked it out where I could coach. And I have to thank some people on that. I worked for many years for the city of Louisville also. Mayor Jerry Aberson and Mayor Greg Fisher were always very supportive of my coaching endeavors. And of course, Mayor Fisher is a member of the Trinity Hall of Fame. You know, while I'm a member of the Hall of Fame, along with my sons, and I got a Catholic School Alumni Award from the Archdiocese of Louisville, going into the Trinity Hall of Fame may be the award I cherish the most because it represents 25 years of service and dedication to Trinity football, doing something I love. And I got to thank many people, too numerous to mention all of them, but I'm going to mention a few. One of the first coaches that my sons had at Trinity was Mickey Colvin, who is in the Trinity Hall of Fame. Mickey was a mentor to my sons the whole time they were there. And I have to tell a story because, you know, Brian's like 16 years younger than Greg. So Mickey came over to the house one day, and we had something going on. And Brian was about 4 years old, and he was shooting his ball into this little basket. Well, Mickey was over there, and he kept knocking it away, wouldn't let him make it. And I said, hey, Brian, this time go dunk it. So Brian went over and dunked it. And I told Mickey, I said, Mickey, you know, years from now, you're going to be coaching him. He may not like you. And of course, Mickey goes, there's no way I'll be coaching him then. Of course, he was coaching him then. He was still around then. Also, I have to thank Rob Mullen, Dennis Langley, Bob Beatty, and Jay Cobb for believing in me. I also need to thank Dr. Mullen for allowing my grandson, Brady, to attend Trinity for his last semester of high school and graduating from Trinity when Jeff came back to Louisville. For this, we will all be forever grateful. Excuse me. I need to thank my sons and daughters, my daughter Kim, my 3 sons. She was a 3-sport athlete at Mercy and Spalding University, where she was inducted into their inaugural Hall of Fame. For support, they supported me in all of my endeavors. And actually, I coached all of them from T-ball up till now. And actually, I still coach them now. They still get my opinion whether they want it or not. But also, most of all, I have to thank my wife, Donna. And Donna was a 5-sport athlete at Angela Reese. She played for Angela Reese High School. She coached numerous teams over the years, and she was my assistant softball coach at Spalding University when I was a head coach, and we won Spalding's first conference championship, and Kim was the conference player of the year. Well, I got voted coach of the year. But Donna did a whole lot of the coaching, maybe most of it. So when I came back, I had to explain to her, hey, they voted me Coach of the Year. I'll give it to you when I get back. I said, but I have to accept it. So she understood, I think. But, like I told you, she was a 5-sport athlete. So Mike Fowler, who's my best friend from the 5th grade on, sits right out at our table. Well, he introduced me to Donna. And he's still my best friend. But he forgot to tell me that she was a great athlete. So the first time I went on a date with Donna, I went to pick her up at the door, and she said, hey, you want to go out and shoot some basketball? And I thought, what? And I played guard in basketball for Flagey. So I went out, and I thought I was pretty cocky. I hit 7 out of 10. She hit 7 out of 10. I said, uh-oh. So she said, well, let's just do it again. So I hit 4 out of 5. She hit 4 out of 5. So Donna, that was the first time I lied to you when I told you we had to leave, because I had to make up something because I knew you were going to beat me. Now I'm going to close with a short story. I got a Master of Arts in Teaching when I was in my 40s. So as part of that, I had to student teach at Trinity. One of the teachers I had was Tom Zender. And you know Tom Zender, that was quite an experience. And but every day he would call me coach. And you know, Tom, he had a great title. He had a Doctor of Business Administration. But he always told me, he said, no, the greatest title you can have is coach. And all these, excuse me, all these years later, I have to say he was right. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. Our next inductee is Dr. Mark Corbett from the class of 1979. As a Trinity student, Mark consistently demonstrated his commitment to academic excellence and received the Math and English Awards as well as the Mr. Scholarship Shammy Award. He graduated from Trinity as class valedictorian in 1979. Went on to graduate magna cum laude with a bachelor's degree in math and chemical engineering from Vanderbilt University. He then earned his medical doctor degree from the University of Louisville in 1987. In 1992, Mark began his professional career as a physician specializing in allergy and immunology. He served as president of the Greater Louisville Allergy Society and the Kentucky Allergy Society. He was further honored nationally by being elected president of the prestigious American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. He retired in 2023 after 31 years in the Louisville area. Mark has lived a life dedicated to giving back with his time, talent, and treasure. He's been a longtime financial supporter of Trinity and was instrumental in establishing the class of 1979 scholarship. He and his wife Susan have 3 children, Mary Beth, Daniel, and Becca. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mark Corbett.
Thank you for such a kind introduction. Well, first, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for choosing me and honoring me to be in this class with such outstanding 7 other men and women in the class of 2023, and I'm very honored and humble for that. Second, I have to thank my sponsors, the Hollenbach family, John, Todd, and the judge, and class of 79 classmates Scotty Whining and Jim York. Appreciate your all's confidence in me. And as the other speakers have mentioned, you don't do anything in life or succeed in anything without the family supporting you. And certainly, first I have to point out my wife will be 36 years next week, Susan, for putting up with me for that period of time. Also want to thank my son Daniel and daughter Becca and our good family friend and part of the family basically, Josh Sewell, for breaking away from the busy schedule, all three live in New York now, and to be in for this event tonight. Unfortunately, my oldest couldn't make it because she's trying to juggle teaching 7th grade math in Atlanta while going to law school at night, and she had multiple exams and papers due this week, so she couldn't make it, and we certainly miss her. Well, unlike Mr. Brom and the Broms and several of our Hall of Fame members, when I came to Trinity, I was by no means an athlete. I was about 5'1" and 90 pounds when I started in fall of 1975. And as a matter of fact, even though academically I did relatively well at the school, I wasn't much of a student in middle school either. Because for those of us from that generation, we came from a family of 5. And my parents were very busy trying to live life. So if you stayed out of trouble and made reasonable grades, they were happy with your performance. So when I got here, there weren't really much expectations. In fact, my oldest brother, Sam, had done very well. My brother right after him, not quite as well. So the standard was not really that high. But certainly that all changed my freshman year at Trinity. Mr. Estley, for one, Father Springman, Father Hemmerly, Father Castor, they really motivated me to want to succeed academically. And really that carried me through my 4 years at Trinity, through my time at Vanderbilt, and med school at U of L, and then the time in residence or training in pediatrics and allergy. Now, I do have to digress, and my friends will not be shocked at this, but I do like to eat. So if those of you remember the Burger Queen chain of restaurants at the time, used to have a thing where if you brought in a report card with straight A's, you got a free meal. So I did take advantage of that on several occasions, and I'm not saying that was my total motivation, but it probably was part of it. So let's fast forward 30 years, and it's time for my son Daniel to pick a school, and he was in public middle school at the time, and I was open-minded with him and said, look, pick a school, you can go anywhere you want, it just can't have the letter X in the name. So thankfully he did choose Trinity, and as with me years before, I just saw how Trinity transformed Daniel and Josh, just from really good kids and just outstanding young men who became leaders at Trinity and are now very successful in their careers and lives. So again, that was very impressive. I also have to reaffirm that, we have this statement, brothers for life over here, and that's really true for me also, because my friends, best friends really now, are several at the table over there. Most of them are fellow class of 79 members, so it really held true with my life. So I'm going to end it now, but Rob, I think you and the Trinity leadership are doing great things here as this place really changes young men's lives for the better. I'm always proud to say I was a graduate of Trinity, and I'm honored and humbled to be selected for the Hall of Fame with the great other 7 people tonight, plus all the great members who have been inducted before me. So everyone have a great holiday season, enjoy the rest of your evening, and again, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Our next inductee is Joseph Landenwich, a member of the class of 1983. Joe's commitment to Catholic education will resound at Trinity for many years to come. He was a member of Trinity's football and wrestling teams, in addition to the Spanish Club and the National Honor Society. Joe was an outstanding student, earning 4 Shamrock Awards. That's like when you're on the honor roll all the time. He is the youngest of 6 brothers to graduate from Trinity. Joe joined Kindred Healthcare in 1996 as corporate counsel and enjoyed a 25-year career with the company, retiring in 2022 as its general counsel and corporate secretary. He began his service at Trinity in 2007 when he joined the school foundation board. In 2011, he was named chair of the fundraising committee, and in 2016, chair of the foundation board. As chair, he made great contributions in setting policy, examining new opportunities, and ensuring the long-term vitality of our school. In 2021, Joe received the Monsignor Alfred Steinhauser Award for his outstanding support and service to Trinity. In 2023, he received the Honor Alumnus Award from the Trinity Alumni Association. Additionally, Joe served as chair-elect and secretary for the Catholic Education Foundation. Joe and his wife Kelly have 4 children, Nicholas, Nathan, Emma, and Lily. They are members of St. Agnes Catholic Church. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Landenwich.
Thank
Thank you so much. It's great to be with everybody tonight. It's always such a special event. It's always good to be associated again and spend some more time with the Trinity family. You know, I want to start tonight by thanking the Alumni Association for selecting me for this honor. I'm very grateful and humbled to be receiving this, and especially along with this great group of honorees tonight. And I want to congratulate all of them for their well-deserved award to be here tonight as well. You know, for me, the decision to come to Trinity was very easy. With 6 brothers, there really wasn't much choice for me at the end of the day, but I really wanted to come, and I knew it was going to be a rock at a very early age. When I was a little kid, my brothers would take me to the football games, and they would pass me around the cheering section. Excuse me, getting emotional. And I had a lot of fun, and I knew the Trinity spirit at that time, and I always wanted to be part of that Trinity spirit going forward. You know, as I reflect on my years at Trinity, I'm incredibly grateful for the great education I got here. It definitely propelled me to be successful both professionally and personally. You know, at Trinity, it was an excellent education. I learned a lot of lessons along the way on top of that education. First, I learned that reading Cliff Notes on the way to school was not going to cut it in Frank Ward's freshman English class. So lesson learned, I had to prepare a little harder if I wanted to be successful. In Mr. Esterly's Algebra 2 class, I once tried to fudge an answer on a problem because I couldn't figure out how to solve it. Well, my test came back the next day, big red X on it, as you might expect, but I also got a nice personal note from Mr. Esterly, all in caps, that said, "What is this BS?" followed by several exclamation points. Well, I don't know much algebra these days, but I do know that you can't fake answers in life. So I learned a lot of lessons at Trinity, and I continue to apply them as much as I can in my life. And over the past several years, I've been fortunate to serve on the foundation board, and I get to spend some time with the school board as well. And so I'm continuing to learn lessons from Trinity, and a lot of those lessons are the core principles that makes Trinity such a special place. The first of that is to never be satisfied with your success. You know, at Trinity, the staff and faculty continue to strive to make this place better all the time. They're continuously trying new things to improve our school. And this way of thinking and doing has led to a number of great ideas, some of which we've talked about tonight, whether that's the house system, the block scheduling, or the drug testing of our students and faculty. I'm glad that Trinity never settles for the status quo. Finally, the most important lesson I learned in Trinity was to maintain a commitment to my Catholic faith. Trinity embraces its commitment to be Catholic, and they do that by welcoming all students irrespective of their economic and social and academic levels of performance, with a goal of developing men of faith and men of character. And I can tell you from where I sit, the results are outstanding, and we should all be very proud of that. So I just want to say that we all can be very proud to be associated with Trinity and its mission, and I hope we all continue to support that. And thank you again tonight, and I'm proud to say Trinity forever.
Our next inductee is Robert B.J. Ruckriegel, a member of the class of 1995. Trinity forms men of faith and character, and B.J. Ruckriegel epitomizes this mission. He immersed himself in life at Trinity, playing football and baseball, earning academic all-state honors for both sports. B.J. received the Baseball Coaches Award and the Steinhauser Award. In sports, that's for the top student athlete in terms of GPA and that sort of thing, for being a good student. Additionally, he earned 4 Shamrock Awards and was a member of the National Honor Society and the Student Council. BJ attended Eastern Kentucky University, graduating with a bachelor's degree in accounting, and went on to earn his MBA from U of L in 2005. He was named CFO and controller of the novelty candy company Candy Riffick. Honored in 2011 as Business First Newspaper CFO of the Year, he was also named to their 40 Under 40 list of outstanding people in business in 2015. EKU honored BJ with its Young Alumni Award in 2016. BJ has been involved with Trinity's Alumni Association since graduation. He has served in many different roles, helping to set records for our fundraising efforts and establishing the class of 1995 scholarship. In 2008, he co-founded the Trinity Alumni Business Circle, a monthly networking luncheon for alums. In 2016, he was presented with the Monsignor Alfred Steinhauser Award for his support and service to Trinity. And he currently serves as chair of the fundraising committee on the Trinity High School Foundation Board. BJ and his wife Carly have two sons, Blake and Quade. They are members of St. Michael Catholic Church. Ladies and gentlemen, BJ Ruckriegel.
Thank you. First thing I always like to talk about is gratitude, and so everyone know how much I appreciate being honored up here. This is an amazing event. I was extremely humbled by the phone call, and today is not a day you think about. Think about what I call serving others, and that's how I believe life should be lived. You serve everyone else. And I learned that from the second I walked in here. I believe in the fact that our first line of our song says, "Inner halls, we learn God's truth." And from the day I walked in, that's what happened. I also believe in my faith. And one of the verses in the Bible, Oscar actually touched on it. I thought, dang, he's going to tell my story. Is the story of the master who comes in to his servants and says, "Here's 10 talents. And he says to another servant, "Here's 5 talents. And another, "Here's 1. And he asks them while he's gone to serve him well with those. When he comes back, the one servant that received 10 talents turned it into 10 more. And the other that had 5 more. And the one that received 1 was scared of the master and did nothing with his talents." Well, whenever we hear that in Mass, we always are hearing the priest in his homily talk to us about what we should do with our talents that God gave us. Well, in my mind, I serve everyone to give back from my talents and to be able to give those talents to build 2-fold, 3-fold, 10-fold at all times. That's what these halls are. We're giving more and more to everyone every day with our efforts in fundraising. We're doing everything we can to build this school into what it was meant to be, as it always has been meant to be. For every student that wants to go here to have a chance. Dr. Heverin, you did a great thing for this school for so many years. So thank you for letting me be here to say thank you to you and for all you've done. And believe me, we have a huge foundation underneath of this school, and it'll do great things for years and years if we all keep giving our talents back. I'd be remiss if I don't thank my mom and my dad for their sacrifice to
to send me here. Thank you to my family, my boys, on the back, the Osteen family, driving me to Boone County to watch these men play, listening to it on the radio. We got about every other play. We didn't get every play. It was great. Dr. Moen, thank you for believing in some of the things I've said over the last 25 years about what I can do with my passion. Thank you. Trinity forever.
What it is about this place that brings out such emotion. Our next inductee is Rudy L. Bowles, a member of the class of 1973. Whether it's teaching, coaching, or running successful businesses, Rudy's core value has always been helping others. As a student, Rudy was very active. He played football all 4 years, helping the 1972 first time ever undefeated Rocks win the state championship. Rudy was a member of the wrestling team for 3 years, qualifying for the state tournament as a senior. He was on the track team his freshman and sophomore years and played baseball his senior year. He also served as senior class secretary and was a member of the drama club. After graduation, Rudy earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Louisville and returned to Trinity in 1979 as a teacher of science, honors health science, and biology, as well as teaching in the traditional program with students with learning differences. He also served as head coach of the wrestling team and as an assistant football coach. In 1989, Rudy left Trinity and started the R.L. Bowles Landscaping and Nursery, serving as its president until retiring in 2019. His mother, Betty, raised Rudy and his brothers alone after their father passed away when Rudy was just in preschool. He and his brothers established the Betty Bowles Scholarship, which is awarded to deserving sophomores from single mother homes. He has also served on the Alumni Board of Directors and his class reunion committee. Rudy and his wife Tina are members of Holy Trinity Catholic Church. Ladies and gentlemen, Rudy Bowles.
Thank you, and good evening. You know, to say the least, this has been an extremely humbling experience, and one that I'm still amazed at. Obviously, you can tell in my voice that I'm standing here before you. And know this is a phenomenal honor, and one that I'm very proud of. One of the things I'm most proud about is the guys that came from 1973. There's probably 20 guys from the class of 1973. That's what Trinity is to me, with brotherhood. God has blessed me with great upbringing, great family, lifelong friends, and outstanding students. Because of this village, I stand before you tonight grateful to all. There are many to thank for this honor I am receiving tonight, but most importantly, my rock, my biggest supporter, my wife. She's always been there for me. Two others that have been an integral part of my life and who have always been there for me, Ed Slattery, 1974, and Kevin Miles, 1973. We've been in grade school all the way through high school and still are very close. As many of you know, two of my older brothers and I grew up in a single parent family, raised by a mom. My mama was a teacher, a counselor, and the first hockey coach to win a state championship at Sacred Heart High School. My mom was a strong woman. I'm like, I can't say it, Rob. I was, but my mom was a very strong woman, trust me. I could see her passion for her students and athletes and the respect she received from them. I remember after hockey games, they had made up a song that they always sang it, "We Love You, Mother." Man, that was a great thing to see. are here as well. My idol growing up was my mom, and that is why I went into teaching and coaching field. One of the best decisions and most rewarding decisions of my life. What makes this award even more special is the fact that my mom is also a Hall of Famer at Sacred Heart. Now that is something she would have been very proud of, I know. I firmly believe that my experience at Trinity, both as a student athlete and a teacher coach, has made me the person I am today. It was the teachers I had and the coaches that coached me that molded me into such a positive way. When I started teaching at Trinity, I had an advantage because I was taught and coached by the best. I had teachers like Father Duke Castor, Father Dewar, Mr. Hubler, and Michael Hamilton, who's with us tonight. Coaches that helped mold me were Coach Jim Kennedy, one of the greatest men I have ever been associated with in my life. Coach John Sullivan, my defensive line coach, and Coach Doug Atson, my wrestling coach. All of them helped me become the teacher coach at Trinity that I was to become. The greatest reward to me was having the honor to help shape the young men I taught and coached. Not having children on our own allowed me to become more involved in their daily lives. Even to this day, I'm very close with many of my student athletes, and now their sons if they need guidance. Many of them are here tonight. As Paul Resch, 1975, a good friend and spiritual mentor, is fond of saying, Maximo animi adore, which is Trinity's motto meaning, with the maximum effort of our soul. My whole heart and soul is dedicated to my brothers for life. I was told that I need to let everybody else know that there are 8 members from the 1973 class in the Hall of Fame. I'm number 8, but that's okay. I feel like I'm number 1. Go Rocks.
Thank you, Rudy. And our final inductee tonight is Frank Ward, an honorary member of the class of 2001. As a teacher, Frank was passionate, challenging, and caring during his 45-year career at Trinity. His rigorous English courses were legendary. Frank earned a bachelor's degree with honors in English from the University of Louisville. In 1976, he earned his master's degree in teaching from Spalding University. Teaching English at all levels, Frank also served as a member of the Faculty Senate and moderator for extracurricular activities, including the Speech and Debate Team, Science Fiction and Fantasy Gaming Club, and the Great Ideas Club. In addition, he held many administrative roles and led vital committees for Trinity. Frank was honored by Trinity faculty and students, receiving the Reverend Thomas Doerr Teacher of the Year Award in 1983 and the Thomas Sheeran Teacher of the Year Award, that's the one voted on by students, in 1987. Then he received the Gene Eckert Service Award in 2016. Frank and his wife Kathy are grateful for the many friends and colleagues Trinity has brought into their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Ward.
I'm just taking my time. I've spent a great deal of time these last few weeks trying to come up with something suitably profound to say tonight. After all, an English teacher should be able to crib a few lines from Shakespeare, an image from Wordsworth, a quote from Steinbeck or Faulkner, some literary allusion that absolutely no one in the room gets, but everyone assumes to be appropriate to the occasion. But to be honest, I've been at a loss. I think the problem is there are too many things I would want to say, too many thoughts I've had sitting out in the audience at many other Hall of Fame dinners such as this. Those ideas have come to mind and competed for my attention, but examining each again, they all fell short, felt pompous or pedantic, or simply unworthy of the moment. So I've decided to focus on just 2 words. Thank you. Thank you to the Alumni Board of Directors and the 2003 Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me to be part of the Trinity Hall of Fame. Thank you to all the teachers, administrators, staff, present and past, who made my 4.5 decades at Trinity the most positive professional environment anyone could hope for. Thank you to all the close friends, both here and gone, that I would have never met if it had not been for these halls. Thank you to all the students who came into my classroom for providing me with the challenge and the joy and the discovery of the wonder of their minds and spirits. Finally, the most important thank you of all. Most people outside this profession simply are unaware of how being an effective teacher takes away from home and family. The hours, papers graded, weekends taken up with class preparation, the time with family losses and demands inherent to being a successful teacher. So thank you to all my family who, through supporting me with their patience, their understanding and love, allowed me to be part of a profession and a school that gave me so much meaning to my life. It would not have happened without them. So I say to all present and future members of the Trinity community, may you be as fortunate as I have been and come to cherish this institution as much as I do. It is truly a wonderful gift. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Frank. Well, I hope you appreciate these folks, these Trinity giants. To those inducted tonight, you're living reminders of what it means to be a servant. Soon your plaques will be affixed to walls around campus. With your inductions this evening, our Hall of Fame now numbers 164 members. Teachers will continue to assign work that sees students researching your lives for meaning and messages that will guide theirs. Don't ever doubt it. You're making a difference. Please allow me to publicly thank the Alumni Office for their work in creating this evening, Alumni Event Coordinator Bonnie Shellhammer, and Administrative Assistant for Alumni Relations Megan Winay worked to handle the details and make it a night to be remembered forever. We thank the Hall of Fame committees and Chair Andrew Heineman and Co-Chair Zach Redmond. Thanks to Mr. Bill Hogue and the operations crew for once again doing a marvelous job in setting up our venue, and thanks for Flick Independent Schools Dining for all the extra work that they put in. Thanks to Mr. Matt Manning and Mrs. Joy Derman for their assistance with the souvenir program and more. These folks display the pride Trinity has in all we do as a community. I do ask, just a housekeeping reminder, that the inductees, when we're finished with singing the alma mater in a minute, if you would come up to the stage with your obelisk, we'd like to take a group photo kind of right where I'm at. Also, please remember to take home the collectible engraved ornament depicting Trinity's Library Media Center that's on your table. So before we depart for the evening, please stand and join me in proudly singing our alma mater. Words are in your program toward the end, and it was written to be sung enthusiastically by our second head of school, Dave Hazlett, who's also a member of the Hall of Fame. In her halls we find God's truth, His wisdom echoes clear. In the group of Trinity, our alma mater dear. Raise your voice and shout her name wherever you may. for Trinity. Loyal to the green and white, we stand united here. Faithful to dear Trinity through each succeeding year. Raise your voice and shout her name wherever you may be. May our love be known to all, our love for Trinity.